If you have you have art that's well renowned, this is special. You read this book, this guy's, it's good, so beautiful, and then it just feels like medicine. I don't like medicine, and you know, the book is no longer about I'm gonna read this because it's an experience that is enjoyable. In the same way that you watch a TV show not because, oh, this is gonna be so healthy for me. You watch the TV episode because it's enjoyable. And you get things out of it because of the joy. The joy allows you to suck things out of it. And so when you read this, oh, book for good for me, this book is good for me, you don't actually get as much as the good as you should because it makes it harder to enjoy. I think this is universal. I definitely experience it. It's too easy when reading to think about, I want to have read this, because it's an important book I want to have read. And then I think about the page numbers. I think, it's too distracting. I just have to experience the thing for what it is, the book for what it is. I wonder if this is why reading is so out of the age, out of tune with modern people. This reminded me of something I heard about One Piece, where people are like, when you're reading One Piece, people think, whoa, there's too much of One Piece. There's 1,000 chapters or 1,000 episodes. How am I ever gonna finish this? It's like, there's too much of it. And then when you finish One Piece, when you're up to date, you think, there's not enough One Piece. I need more. And I think that is the soul of it. You read. I mean, people like watching TV, and it doesn't feel like a chore. You're just doing it. But if you were watching a show and you were thinking of it as, I gotta finish this, this long show. Even if it was a show you would otherwise really enjoy, it would distract you. And you would not enjoy it as much. And so, I think the exact same principle applies with books. And so it becomes a chore. And if people thought about books like they thought about TV shows, where it's, I don't want this to end, there's not enough of it, it's about, then I think it would just be like that. It's how people used to feel about book. It's how people who read book, some of them feel about book, And so that's how people should feel about book. But unfortunately, I very much struggle with that. Because I've realized this a while ago, but it's not fully fixed. I guess there's things I can read without thinking about it, but it's just, for sometimes it's just, this is a book that I want to have read, and so it's hard to read it. This is a similar thing you hear about Christians that are trying to go read the Bible. They're thinking, I'm gonna read this Bible. That's my goal. My New Year's resolution, I'm gonna read this library. And so obviously it becomes a chore, because you're thinking, I'm gonna read every book in this library, It's obviously gonna be a chore. You gotta just read it for what it is. Read this book for what it is. I would even say you have to read this chapter for what it is. And it shouldn't even be about finishing the chapter. You have to read these lines, these words for what they are, these sentences for what they are, You shouldn't be worried about what will be. You should be worried about what is. Basically, just be stoic. Yeah. And so, that's it for today. Cheers.